Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Alhamdulillah. Dear brothers and sisters, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to talk about today a very, very important topic for all Muslims. This is the one of the biggest pillar of Islam, that is Hajj. And unlike Salah, there are some exception performing Hajj. There are some requirements and condition. Not everybody mandatory. It is mandatory for everyone, like the people who do not have physical ability, financial ability, and other circumstances. So we're going to talk about the origin of Hajj based on Surah Al-Hajj. And by that introduction, I would like to go ahead give to Sheikh Hamid to go ahead and start. And we're going to talk about from Surah Al-Hajj, verse number 26, inshallah.
Inshallah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala sayyidil mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. As you said, that we'll be really looking at the history of Hajj. Little bit that is highlighted in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 26. It starts, and I'll use few words of the first verse and then we'll start the discussion. It starts like this: Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa is bawwa'na li Ibrahima makan al-bayt. Just from here, that I remember when we bawwa'na Ibrahim alayhi salam. So it does bawwa'na. It could have been. Remember when we showed Arwa'ina, something like that. We showed Ibrahim alayhi salam the Makan al-Bayt, Allah's house, the house, the site of the house. But it says it bawwa'na, but it implies means something has been assigned, or it could be a place will be coming over and over again. A place of settlement where he'll be coming over and over again. So let's look at the history. Ibrahim alayhi salam started, he was from somewhere in Iraq, Babylon area, and then he couldn't convince his family. He had fight with Namrud, and then he fled to somewhere in Palestine. But staying there, his dawah, his mission was not really centered around that location somehow, some reason. We know that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has directed his attention to far away from there. He said, look over there somewhere far away. In Makkah, there is a place, there is a house you need to rebuild. And there we'll have my new progeny. This is before the Judaism and Christianity are formed. So even before that was formed, he's the father of all three religions, but he is shown a place, desolate place in Makkah, where he's saying, go there and rebuild my house. What a strange, what a coincidence that is going to happen, that Allah Ta'ala is showing there to go there. And the intention to go there is, an la tushriku fi shay'a. Make sure there is no shirk in that place. So he wants to make sure that he came from a shirk place, but he doesn't know what happened in Palestine. That is not mentioned. But make sure the place over there is free from shirk, free from idolatry. All should be gone. And then what he said, Allah Ta'ala is saying, وَطَهِّرْ بَيْتِيَ, and he purify my house, clean my house. What is clean my house? Means cleaning from, it could be physical cleaning, it could be cleaning from shirk, if there's an idols around it, make sure it's gone, and also make an environment that's conducive to praying, for people can devote and do their praying. So I think وَطَهِّرْ بَيْتِي, it could also mean, like, it could be a mantra for all masajid that we see, that it has to be clean, physical cleaned, no shirk in that area, no shirk type thinking, no shirk type symbols and stuff. and then a conducive environment for someone to do their worships. Then Allah Ta'ala is saying, for whom he wants to have this house to be cleaned and prepared with no shirk around, is lit-ta'ifin, for the people who will do tawaf. That means the tawaf was a very ancient way of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is circumambulating the Kaaba. It was there for long before Makkah was born. It was there. So people, Allah Ta'ala showed Ibrahim salam, so people will be doing tawaf and doing their ibadat or remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while they're doing the tawaf. And then it says wal qa'imin, and they may be standing there. So there could be some prayer that may need to stand. Is it our salah? Maybe. It could be our salah that we stand in salah, or could be their part of salah that needs someone to look at the Kaaba and say something or make dua at that time while they're standing. Or warukka is sujud. Or for those who are doing ruku, sujud. Look at that. There is no wa in between. Warukka was sujud. We say rakkaina was sujud. And you see always a wa in between. But here it looks like it hyphenated. Looks like ruku sajj, ruku and sajda, not and. It's kind of one word. It's a ruku, and there's no and in between. Explicit and is not there. Ruku sajda. That means it becomes a one unit. That means some people will be doing ruku as well as sajda, not ruku and sajda is not two separate event. Looks like they are joined together. They're doing ruku and sajda together. So that basically looks like our prayer. And if we look at that looks like, well, then all the people of the book should have known this, that it was there from Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they should be doing tawaf, they should be standing, they should be ruku and sujud. But if you look at the current books of Bible or Torah, they don't have the tawaf side, it's gone. But at least ruku and sujud are still there. They're still in their books. There's something called bowing down. There's something called falling on their face on the ground. That kind of postures are still there in their books, but it is really from that old tradition of Ibrahim alayhi salam, how to do a salah, or could be different forms of azkar that is done that way. And we see these things even after thousands of years when Prophet ﷺ came, that Makkah has changed to a different kind of people, where people are doing tawaf, but they're maybe naked, or they're doing qa'imin, but they're shouting, chanting some idol's name, and they could be ruku and sujud, but not to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to somebody else. Things have totally changed. Even we'll see even between Safa and Marwa, there is in dua when it says inna safa wal marwa min sha'airillah faman hajjal baita aw i'tamara fala junaha alayhi an yatawafa bihima. So between Safa and Marwa, people do that, run around, but there is no guna, there is no sin by doing so. So it's kind of a strange thing. We're doing something good, but there is no sin if you do that. That means even the pagans do some Safa Marwa running with their idols, and looks like we are mimicking them. Allah Ta'ala is saying no. Their way of doing is our way of doing different. Intention is different. Their tawaf and our tawaf is different. They're shouting in front of the Kaaba, and our shouting, our utterance are different, even though they look alike, because they have distorted the original the way of doing from Ibrahim salam. It got distorted over time. And we know from the history that Ibrahim salam really never built the whole Kaaba from ground. It says, "Wa is yarfa'u Ibrahim." When Ibrahim and Ismail salam really they raised the foundation. It was raised up, and raised up means it's kind of from on top of the old foundation. They raised up, so it could be a little higher. And that's why it was still maintained, and that's why that you see the door. You need a ladder to go up the door to get on the door of the Kaaba, because there was a foundation. We couldn't do anything about it, and then we raised it, so our base looks a little high. So we need some stairs to climb up to to get in, even though it's one-story building. But why you need a ladder? Because there was an old foundation that we left it intact. So that means the house was, he said he was showed the place. That means the place was existent even before Ibrahim salam. So it is, Mufassir says that it was really during Adam salam was formed, and then it was used for worship, and then during Nuh salam, during the flood, it got destroyed. And the Kaaba got destroyed, that one, and maybe up a couple of times, 1 or 2 times before Prophet ﷺ. And during the time of Prophet ﷺ, there was a flood, and it also destroyed that Kaaba, and it was rebuilt. And we know the story when the black stone, there was a conflict when who will put the black stone, Hajj Aswad, that stone, into the place. There was a dispute, and they later on decided that whoever comes near early in the morning in front of the Kaaba will have the honor to pick it. But Prophet ﷺ was the man somehow on that time. Allah, that was the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Prophet didn't do it. He said he put a white cloth and put the black stone in the middle and asked 4 leaders to carry it. And then when it came to near the Kaaba, that he placed it by himself. But he made a unity among all the tribes. And this was 5-6 years before he became prophet. So things are kind of taking shape. And then also history, we see it looks square now, but it was really rectangular. And it was rectangular during this rebuild time. It was during the Prophet ﷺ time. It was, before it broke down, it was rectangular. But what happened, the Quraysh thought that they would use halal money, some good money to use for the rebuild of the Kaaba, not no other money or somebody else. There was some restrictions on what kind of money we can put, and they were out of money, and they had to make it shorter. So it becomes rectangular to square, and the place of the portion of the Kaaba that is outside, we call Hatim now. So it's still considered to be part of the inside the Kaaba. So someone who prays inside the Hatim, it considered to be he's praying inside the Kaaba. So we have a lot of rush trying to pray inside that Hatim area. But even Prophet, there was a narration said, Prophet always fascinated that wish I could finish that up and make it as rectangular as before, but it may cause confusions, and changing something may cause confusion or unease among the Sahabis. So he refrained from putting it back. Until then, we still didn't make it rectangular again. We still square, and then the remaining part stays as a Hatim. So that is the basically story. That intention was to have shirk-free place for the worshippers, and that is from that time. And then, very interesting, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ, and Allah Ta'ala is saying, announce for the people, فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ, and announce to the people, mankind, everyone in the world, oh people, come for the Hajj. So, oh people, come to the Hajj. So, azin, you announce, you proclaim, oh Ibrahim alayhi salam, so that people can come to Hajj. They said, wait, man, how do I call people of all around the world? He said, you announce, we'll take care of. Allah Ta'ala said, you announce. So Ibrahim salam went, there's a mountain called, I forgot, let me see if we can name the mountain. The mountain, it's a high mountain called Qubais, Abu Qubais. On top of that mountain, he went on top and he start proclaiming, announcing, oh people, something like that. Oh people, your Lord has built the house and has made pilgrimage into an obligation upon you. So respond to the call. Oh people, come. Allah has made this Hajj sacred, and you have to come for pilgrimage. All come. Those who are listening, all come. And Allah Ta'ala made it such that everyone, all the nature, and Allah's responsibility was make sure the next generation, the next will always hear that call. The azan is still happening. And even today, we still hear that azan, and we say, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh, I'm coming. Here I am, oh my Lord, I'm coming. So basically, we are responding to the azan of Ibrahim alayhi salam and saying, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. And labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. We also proclaim the same thing, that this house, we are not doing any kind of shirk in that house. Inna alhamda wa ni'mal laka wal mulk la sharika lak. It's praising Allah and saying the same thing. that we will not do, we don't attest to any kind of shirk in this house or in this vicinity, and also in our heart, we don't accept any kind of shirk. So basically, it's such a profound thing that he's making azan, proclaim that, so people will come all around the world. And Allah Ta'ala is saying, giving little scene, that Ya'tuka rijalan, they'll come to you on your feet. Ya'tuka rijalan, they'll come to you on your foot. And wa'ala kulli damirin, and every kind of lean camel will come to you. Lean camel, very strange, vivid description saying that when people come from distance with their animals and with them, it's such a hard travel, even the camel will turn lean by not eating enough, not drinking enough. And also the people who goes with them will be tough for them that will come from distance. So it's a kind of way of saying that people will come even on foot with their lean camel, because they bring their food with them. Yatina min kulli fajjin amik, and they'll come from every fudge, every highway, mountain highway, and deep, distant or deep. It's not ba'id means distant. Amik means something distance for sure, but something deep. That means if you now it's just kind of if you go to Colorado or Denver airport or to San Jose airport, you see mountains around, and when you see when you say descent, you see you just going down towards the small airport. You'll see a steep descent. So the people who are coming from the mountains, they will see on a steep descent, small place that are called Kaaba, with the lean camels, and they will far distance. They'll come in and go to the descending small place, and they will be excited to see that. And out of curiosity, there's a good book called 1,000 Ways to Kaaba, something like that. 1,000 to Makkah, 1,000 Ways to Makkah, 1,000 travel. So it was travel document that has people have documented their experiences of the travel to Makkah from all over the world. Interesting that shows this kind of distant movement that we don't see. That we come by plane, we don't see, we don't have to carry animals, so that feeling is not there anymore. But it's explained in those travel documents. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, next is, I will finish with this ayah. I think otherwise it will be too long. That liyashhadu manafi'a lahum. So you witness the benefits in it. So by going down for Hajj, we'll be witnessing some benefits. We'll be present and we'll be obtaining some benefits. What are the benefits? There are spiritual benefits. There could be economic benefits. And it's nothing wrong with having economic benefits, because we know spiritual benefits. We know those who come, the chance for getting all sin forgiven, the day of Arafah. All these are all excellent benefiting place and time. But also you can have some economic benefits. People come there at that time, they will say, I'll come to Kaaba and then I'll write a book. Some have even wrote a book. Or some will make some trading, because you have to do trading because they don't have money. So they bring some valuables from their country and give it to Makkans and say, give me some food, give me some shelter, give me some water. Here is my stone, black stone. For that, give me some benefits. So they can make some money, exchange some things that they can live and stay. They cannot just go after take the next flight. They may stay there for months and then slowly prepare themselves and then head back home. So what they're saying that you get some benefits. Then Allah is saying, "Waskuru smallahi fi ayami ma'lumatin." Then you say the name of Allah in the few designated days. We know when it says "Waskuru smallahi," it always means saying in the names on like Qurban is happening here at this time. So we always say the name in the few days, means like those 10, 11, 12 days of Dhul Hajj. We do our Qurbani those days in the name of Allah. You do that. So it's kind of saying that one of the benefit, and also it says that you have to mention the name of Allah in those few days. But it makes clear in the next words that it says, Allah ma razaqakum min bahimatil an'am. Whatever Allah has given you from the domesticated cattle. So you say the names on the domesticated cattle for which Allah has provided to you, on those few days in the name of Allah, and you may make sacrifice on them. So it's the end part of Hajj, where we finished the Arafah, Muzdalifah, and the stoning, and then we do the sacrifice that is mentioned here. Then Allah is saying, "Fakulu minha," eat from it. And وَإِطْعِمُوا لِلْبَائِسِ الْفَقِيرِ, and feed the ba'is al-faqir. Feed the faqir, those are ba'is. Ba'is means those are extremely desperately poor. It's like one rank below the faqir level. So we always know miskin, faqir, and next category is ba'is al-faqir, extreme poverty. You eat and give it to your faqirs. Why Allah is saying this fakulu minha? I think that the reason is that in Makkan time, the Quraysh, usually when they sacrifice their meat, the animals to their gods, small god, to their idols, usually they don't eat those. But they said, oh, we cannot eat. It's given to my idols. Idol has to eat it. So they leave it there, let it rot in front of it. But Allah Ta'ala is saying that days are over. Yes, you'll be doing sacrifice, but this time you will be eating it. Eat it. No harm, because you're giving to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He can eat those blessings Allah is giving back to you. Eat it. And then make sure the poor are getting it. It only looks like there are two kind of people that you eat and eat the poor people, feed the poor people. Now, sometimes we feel like, wish I could, during the Hajj time, wish I could eat my own sacrifice. It's far away. We can't do that anymore. And forget about feeding myself, helping to help the poor. We don't see this instruction, this commandment. We don't see it live. Most of the people, maybe 5% of the people may try to make their own sacrifice and then maybe cook it. That days are kind of over. With the amount of people and the way it's managed, we cannot sacrifice our goats or cattle and forget about eating and donating to someone. It's kind of far. We don't know what happens at that time. We just believe that it is sacrificed. They announce us the name. It has been done. Then we don't know about the animal, where it went. We don't know. So let's finish with, do you want to continue more or?
I think that's a good point to stop. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. And I would like to, again, later on, it will also talk about other categories of people who we share. I think on 36, at the end of 36, it also talk about the similar type
it's called
yeah. So in today's scenario, those who are not going to the Mecca and who are sacrificing locally, we need to understand the importance of Faqir and then Qaniyat al-Mu'tar, so that we can distribute and share our sacrifice, to the people who, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Quran. Any way
I think
people can understand this?
One more thing I'd like to add, that if we look at the division of our share given to people, we see myself, the people who ask, Qania, Mu'tar, people who are not asking, people who are asking, to both kind, needy who asks, needy who doesn't ask, and extreme desperate poor, faqir. So so in our country we say 1/3 to this, 1/3 to this, 1/3. That is not really explicitly coming up. It didn't say that, can I feed my rich neighbor? It didn't explicitly say here, like, I want to give it to my rich neighbor or rich relatives. They don't need my food, but I know it's not explicitly said, mandated by the Quran is saying, make sure you eat and make sure the needy people gets it. That's mandated by the Quran. Now, it could be Sunnah side there where it says, yes, you can eat, you can give it to poor, and also you can give it to your relatives and neighbors. But even though we put a large chunk on that, 1/3 to the family and neighbors, but I don't know how that number came from. That huge chunk is going to your neighbors and your relatives, where it's mostly focusing on people, the needy people, to get that meat. And if you see the last week when we discussed why you're in Sakar, one of the things was, I didn't feed the poor.
Right.
So they're all getting connected. That feeding the poor is so important in our religion, that we have to really help the needy.
Yes, and also another thing you mentioned that the pagans, they used to, sacrifice, and they used to whatever they give, they think that it will go to their gods, and that's why they wouldn't eat or
Mm,
take it from it. But Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in Surah Al-Hajj, I think mentioned there is another right here that "La yanalallahu luhumuha," that neither their meat nor blood reaches Allah, rather it is your piety that reaches Him. So this is a distinct difference, the way disbelievers, sacrifice and the believers sacrifice. Believers sacrifice and, they consume it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning, you are sacrificing for me. However, know that it doesn't reach me. What reaches it is your piety or taqwa. So that's a distinct difference. Everybody should know that even though some there is a competition goes on who can sacrifice the biggest camel or
mm,
biggest
mm,
cow.
mm.
Why we are doing it, it is not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us reward. The bigger the animal, the better the reward. It's not that. It's actually our piety or taqwa, that if somebody could sacrifice a small goat and have a big or high ambitious taqwa to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other person could sacrifice $1 million, but the intention was to show up, or just to get credit that he or she did a big sacrifice, not to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think we should be very aware that the intention of our sacrifice. Similarly, the intention of Hajj, even though the benefits are out there, but our intention is to respond the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rather than just trying to
Right,
go there and sign a $1 billion contract,
right.
or meet business people, or buy a lot of gold and make it a business
Sure.
transaction only, rather than forgetting about the original cause of the Hajj, establishing Hajj. So we should keep that in mind, especially those. I have seen some people goes to Hajj every year. So if they have the ability to go to Hajj every year, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them. But the core in their heart should be to responding to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's call that He wants us to go, rather than just make it a business deal. Any comments in
No, I
that
think you're
area?
right. You're absolutely right. It's intention, because once you do something for anything other than Allah, it turns into shirk. You want to show off. There's other reasons. The reason is Allah. Why do you pray Allah? Then no, there's 1% is I pray because my neighbor will say good to me. Then you put a shirk on the ibadah, even though 0.1% is to please my neighbor. No, then you can't do that. So you want to do please that it was only for sake of your livelihood, that you will go there, you're making a livelihood, that's fine, but it cannot be, as I said, making a big $1 billion contract while doing Hajj. That is not intended by that. You're right.
Yes, and also another time, people struggle whether they should buy the big luxury package to go to the Hajj in today's circumstance versus the, bare minimum amount they can spend for the Hajj. I think those should be depending on individuals' ability, financial ability, physical ability, and their time ability, right? Those people going from North America or Europe, they normally go there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But the people from Asia and Africa, they go there for 2 months or 3 months because of the financial abilities or priority given to them, and also their available time to spend. I think we should be concerned about that too, that even we are going for 2 weeks or 2 months, as long as we are there, we should be thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Hmm.
because the reward of Hajj is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? The reward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give to us. So any comments on that, that in today's circumstance, the way people are, have the options or ability as far as package, as far as the time, old days people used to go by sheep,
As I said,
long journey.
come by foot. Here it says they come by foot with a lean camel.
Right, right. But that's very nowadays. If you look at it, those surrounding the Mecca people now, even though don't come by lean camel, they come by their car. You know, the
Right.
people neighborhood. There are no animals,
Mhm.
ride or transportation. In future, it might be even more. Emerging technology related transportation people will take to go to the Hajj. So I think we should keep in mind, whatever the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the camel, because that was the common transportation at that time, right? If we were to what do you call interpret transportation in today's time, it would be all different types of transportation that
Right.
are
Right.
available for us to go, for plane, ship, a car, flying car, many of those. So the key point is, we talk about the transportation is when I have went to the Hajj, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our Hajj who performed it and provide ability to those who are still didn't perform the Hajj. Our Hajj intention should be from the time we leave our house, and then it should end the time we come back to our house. And in during the entire period, I think we should remember that we are the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and calling that. And in that, we should refrain from all kind of, worldly pleasure, all kind of worldly benefit, even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, but I have seen people go a little bit deviated from the main cause, and they start fighting in the plane.
Mhm.
They have, nowadays cell phone available. People start doing I don't want to mention that task they do. I have seen, a lot of it's like a more of a what do you call vacation rather than the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to perform ibadah. So we should keep it, even though it is a form of vacation for some people, but it is a pillar of Islam. We should take it very seriously, because it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling us to go. Any comments you have related to that, so that people can benefit from it, inshallah?
I think what you just said is the ayah is sitting in front of us. Wajtanibu qawla zur. Avoid falsehood, false talking. Wajtanibu qawla zur. So all those, as you just said, that if you go there and your speech is evil speech, fight, false talking, gossiping of bad nature, avoid those. Avoid. So sometimes when you stay a long time and you forget that you are the invited guest in Hajj, and you may start doing the old chai and gossiping, we'll be in trouble. That we may have forgot about it very quickly. That's the thing. We need to maintain our sanity, and the reason why we are there, and maintain that to the best of our ability. Allah make us easy on that. And I'll be going to Hajj this year, inshallah. I'll make people make dua for me so that I can go there and be successful, and Allah accepts our Hajj and come back safely, inshallah.
I mean, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for sharing all this information. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa
Wa alaikum
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
salam.